What's up, Familia? This is your boy Gen X. Welcome back. You thought the con was over? No. We're going into extra innings, and the reason why I've left this open is so that we all can create community and develop community and just connect. Period. So, without any further ado, we're gonna jump into our guest, and I'm so thankful to have him. I'm so excited to have him here. Rafael Dante, who is basically, if you haven't seen his stuff, oh my God, he's a multimedia creative. But more than that, he's a really cool dude, and he's actually overseas. I don't know what time it is over there, but it's probably the break of dawn at this point in time. So we just want to thank you. But I'm going to read your bio real quick, and then just get into the Q&A and have folks kind of join us. So Rafael Dante is a multi-talented professional with almost 20 years of experience working on a huge range of award-winning creative projects. Most of his career has been dedicated to the advertising and entertainment industry, working for agencies and clients around the globe. Dante has a wide range of skills that include hand drawings, creative concepts, graphic and digital design, 3D production, and team management. He has worked with numerous high profile clients and has received recognition for his exceptional work, including Cannes, Lions, Clio, Webby's, One Show, and more. And Rafael Dante is currently working at Media Monks LA and is a jury member of the awards. So that's with like three W's. I'm at. So not just the regular awards. This is a mega award. So, but I wanted to properly thank you for coming. Here is the rounds of applause that you are more than needed in this venture, because these folks here are all about the work and the geekdom that occurs here. So we have a really cool group of folks. But anyway, enough of me talking. I just want to know, who are you? Let people know who you are, where you're from, and your basically your breadth and depth. Why, obviously this is a Comic Con, but I really wanted to get you on because you are amazing talent. So tell people who you are, where you're from.
Thank you so much for the whole setup, Joseph, and thank you for accommodating this situation. By the way, I'm in Denmark now, um, dealing with some work stuff here too. But I'm from Brazil, and I am based in Oregon. I moved to Oregon. So one thing to correct on that whole setup, I'm not with the Media Monks anymore, but
Okay.
love you guys. The monks are great. Doing something else now, but yeah, still doing the same thing. I'm a mix of creative and artist. I started my professional career back in Brazil, in advertising agencies. I went to um yeah, it's like 12:30 now. Whoever said it late, yeah, it's 12:30, but it's all right. So I started my career. I went to uh, advertising school in Brazil and started in just like traditional advertising agencies. But I started drawing when I was 8 to 9, and I was always super into comic books. I remember like copying the drawings from Jim Lee back in the day, where the X-Men in the 90s were like just amazing. And my dream was to become a comic book artist, but in Brazil, it's not really easy. It's not really easy anywhere in the world, but back in the 90s, 2000s in Brazil was really really hard. Wasn't an easy thing. We had a lot of Brazilian artists, but it's a really tough career, and things are not easy in Brazil. So you have to go to the college and you have to get a degree, and then uh, get work. And I found in advertising was a cool way to combine my skills with some creative stuff that I always liked. um, Advertising in Brazil is really good, really good. There's a lot of really good agencies, great creatives. So I thought it was good to pursue this career, and I think I did the right thing. To me, um, in parallel, I always try to develop my artistic skills. I went to another art school. I started to do a lot of illustration work for agencies and other clients. And because of my roots in comics, um, means that I I I was really versatile. Like I could draw like different things. So yeah, this is a project I did for Nike in 2022, I think. Oh, 23, 22, 23. Um, so yeah, as you can see, it's very like comic book style, but it goes really well with advertising as well. So um, it was for me like the back in the day was the right choice. I became an art director, more focused on creative and stuff, but I always did illustration work in parallel. And of course, I as a kid in the 90s, I started drawing with traditional medium, paper, brushes, pens, and stuff. And then when I started working as a creative, I ended up learning how to do the digital illustrations and Photoshop, all those traditional graphic um, tools and softwares you have. And then of course more work came out because when you do more things in advertising is really really good. At some point in my career, I realized that I had to learn 3D because there was a lot of people learning 3D, and it's not really easy. I'm gonna be honest; it's not an easy thing to do because um, it's very technical. Sometimes it's very technical, and for some artistic minds, it's just like hard to shift and try to visualize geometry in some ways. So so yeah, it was a big challenge to work to learn 3D, but I ended up learning. I don't master 3D, but I know some tricks, and I can do some stuff in 3D too. Um, and then I moved to LA. I don't know if I'm going too fast, but I'm just trying to go on
No,
a
you're good. You're good. No,
on a
I think
timeline.
a lot of the folks here are they dabble in a lot of different areas, particularly trying to figure out. I think one of the biggest pluses, if you could somehow inject in kind of like your storytelling and where your origin story is and your hero story is, what as you started to grow and develop these tools, what are you using, how are you using, what programs are you technically using right now. Someone put in the chat here, what technical concept of 3D art was most difficult for you? So
So for 3D, I basically I learned Cinema 4D, and is the one that I'm more comfortable with until now. Um, and then other tools like Substance Painter, um, you know, some like basic 3D stuff. But for me, the most technical concept in 3D, I think it's still like building textures. I think for me, it's still hard. It's still nowadays for me, it's still like hard to create textures from scratch, like to combine things. They always change this the lot sort of the logic of the program. So if you don't keep it up, you just forget it.
yeah.
But but yeah, but other than Cinema 4D, I use Photoshop, Illustrator, um, and yeah, I think I just used a bit. I use a lot of Figma now. Figma it's a huge thing, but not really to design, more to organize thoughts. And for digital design is really good for products and that type of thing. But I don't do that anymore.
Okay.
Not so.
Okay.
It's fun, but yeah, it's a little bit tedious. It's a matter of choice. Like I mean, there's people who enjoy it, but it's not my thing anymore.
Yeah, I saw that you did a movie, a AI movie. I wanted to ask you about that. What do you think about the AI infusion into art and the artistry piece and that balance? But also, this looks pretty cool. So, would you mind talking a little about that and what your thoughts are on like the AI revolution and
No,
where
that's
it
fine.
fits?
Yeah, I love that. I love to talk about that. So I created this movie trailer using basically three AI tools. I just wanted to test because I did this last year, so it's been a year that I worked on this. So it was kind of new back in that day. Like uh, I think Mid Journey was more advanced, but I used Mid Journey, I used ChatGDP, and I used Runway because I wanted to test. I thought I saw like some amazing, you know, images, and let's not lie, they are good images, right? Like we
Yeah,
cannot lie
they're pretty good.
to
Yeah.
ourselves. They're cool. Um, and then I thought about creating a movie trailer. It's something that I really love. I love horror movies. I love not movies in general, but horror movies just like I'm particularly into those movies. And I thought, okay, let me create this r- cliche type of script, and I'm gonna try to animate and make a sequence because it's a quick thing you can do like with a couple seconds, and you can get some really cool. You can build up a story in a couple of seconds.
Yeah.
So I started generating the images on this app called Runaway, and then you can only back in that time you could only generate 4 seconds a max of a clip. So they're really quick movie clips.
Okay.
Um, and then I generated the full sequence, um, and then I went to some traditional editing programs like I did this in Adobe Premiere,
Hmm.
and then I found a really amazing soundtrack from this uh, uh, studio. They're composers. I think they're from Sweden, and they are I credited them in the credits on YouTube.
Hmm.
You can use it for free if you're not making money with it. And with that, I build the story. Like I create, I edit, I cut the clips in the right way. So, and also for the movie poster, the only thing I used at ChatGPT was just to create the name of the
Okay.
movie. But I kind of wanted to. I kind of already knew what I wanted to make. So I used AI to help me generating those images. But I added the movie. I picked the soundtrack. Like I made it make sense. So I think in this way, in this, like if you use it to express your creativity, if you use to make something quick so people can take a look, to like instead of spending a lot of time like doing research, sometimes you already know the reference you're looking for,
Sure.
and that's where I think AI helps you. So I created this combining some tools with my knowledge, with my personal references. So I think AI is a very hard to push back anymore.
Yeah.
There's no more turning back. Like
Yeah.
AI
You
is
already
not gonna
opened Pandora's box.
it's not gonna go. But yeah, I mean, there's no way tomorrow all these companies say, okay, we
Yeah.
agree with you, artists. We're shutting down our operations. It's not gonna happen, and the technology
Yeah.
exists already. It's
Yeah.
done. I think it's a very moral thing. So
Hmm.
I see a lot of there's some artists that are obviously using AI to become like better artists,
Yeah.
and I think that's a moral. It's a moral thing, right? Um, what has more value, uh, an art generated by AI or an art generated by a real artist? Of course,
Hmm.
the real one has more value. Um, so I think in a way it makes traditional art much more important,
Hmm.
because if you can do that without any help, then you're really good, and then
Yeah.
people give value to that.
Yeah.
If you
I
try to
agree.
fool people, that's not gonna work. You know,
Yep.
it's not gonna work. Like there's always people who knows that you're fooling, like you're doing some like wrong shit there. So
Yeah.
I mean, I me as a creative, as an artist, I think we have to learn this shit. You know,
Hmm.
we have to learn. We have to understand how it works and try to help, try to build some rules around. Because in the end, we are the artists, so we need to establish some boundaries. But for others, I think it's a battle that's already lost if you try to
Yeah.
to start.
Yeah, I think the interesting point that you made too, just I also think that how are you using it? Let's take the companies out of the equation, but you created this without trying to make money off of it, right? So there's an artistic piece to it. And I think as companies start to view products and even productions like this, right? How do you make it so that way, you're still putting the artist first in that creative mode that you're utilizing original content. I actually putting out a magazine that I put in about this balance between AI and traditional artistry. So I think I come to the same conclusion you come to, which is use it for good and not for evil, basically. And it sometimes you can't help the evil that does come out of the industry. But what I've noticed is people using, let's say, cover art. People are kind of there's a push to make sure that this is out at a certain time, the deadlines are met, so on and so forth. It's kind of tempting
Yeah.
for someone, even established people, to be like, "Oh gosh, I'm hitting a wall, and I need to make money. One, and two, this thing is in front of me. How can I use it and maybe get away with it, or manipulate it so that it still has my signature on it?" Right. So, I agree with you.
Yeah,
It's a tough thing.
it's tough, man. It's tough because it's not really easy to it's not going to be easy to see that it's AI. You know,
Yeah.
it's not.
Yeah.
It's tricky because I can man, I can open AI, any AI tool, generate some poses and draw inspired by what I'm seeing on AI, and
Yep.
nobody will notice. It's Let's be honest. Like if I've, like I said, if I don't know, let's get any established artist, and
Hmm.
who knows, like who knows what he's doing in his room.
Yeah, I mean, I think we saw this happen in the comic book industry a couple of times where the covers were recalled because the artists that put in the work, uh, folks were able to see, they didn't do a great job. They were able to
I know.
see
I
the
think I know what you're
pixelation.
talking about.
Yeah, there was some pixelation. Actually, one of my friends, he actually posted it and he was like, "Yeah, you can actually see this homage that
Hmm.
was overlaid with all these pixels, and you could just tell."
Yeah.
But yeah, well, I want to talk about your comic book side because I want to know that part. I definitely have been checking out your stuff. The comic book. I mean, you are freaking a beast when it comes in it. It's, you said drawing superheroes is something I've done since I was 8 or 9 years old, 8 or 9 years old. I post a lot of these drawings on Instagram account. I've been following you for quite a long time. And so these are a few things. A friend of mine, Vodline's Victor Irizarry, he's a big Mike Mignola fan. I posted this and some of your content as a promo for folks to and come and check you out. But your style is, I would say, is very dramatic, and at the same time, it reminds me of old school comic books as well, and with some
Nice.
like really, I mean, you have different variations of your styles. Can you talk about maybe some of those influences and how you perfect it? Because I think everything that I've seen of yours is really unique,
Thank you,
and
man.
it's not your average like drawing.
Thank you. Thank you. So yeah, yeah, like I was saying, everything started when I was 8, 9. So it's been a long time that I've been, you know, drawing every day of my life, pretty much. Um, I my I think my main influence in the very beginning, I think, was Jim Lee and other artists from the 90s like Adam Kubert, um, Scott Campbell, one Brazilian artist that is Roger Cruz, which I had the pleasure to um study anatomy with him, and I did some comic book classes with him as well. He became a great friend. Roger, you're the best. Um, of course, back in that day, Joe Madureira, the Beast, Humberto Ramos. But now, like, and then I always like some other stuff like Travis Charest, um, Sean Gordon Murphy. Like nowadays, to me, like he's one of my favorite artists. Like I really like the way he tells a story as well. Um, his pages are really really impressive. Um, and yeah, I don't know, like who else? That Asian guy, Francis Yu, what's his name? The new
Yeah, yeah, Francis,
Francis
you,
Yu.
yeah,
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 that dude's amazing too.
yeah.
Um, yeah, but Greg Capullo, of course, like Spawn, like amazing. And yeah, my thing was more. Then I realized that I liked to work on covers than comic books because to me, like because I was also starting my career as an illustrator, I was really into big compositions, really nice, dramatic scenes.
Hmm.
So I went more into that type of thing, um, and just practice, man, just practice, non-stop practicing. Um, during the COVID, I started to be more active on my Instagram, which
Hmm.
was really nice. I met a lot of people, and I was like teaching drawing through the internet for like young not only young people but mostly young people in Brazil. Um, and yeah, now I'm working on a series of cards for Upper Deck. So there are some cool stuff coming up. Um, and yeah, my commissions
Have
are.
you ever had any aspirations to produce your own books?
So I'm in the middle of something with a friend. We are working on a really short story with like 15 pages only. It's a setup for a bigger story. So I'm in the beginning of that process. Not really in the beginning. I started, but I need to like finish those pages. But yeah, it's coming soon.
That's cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, I asked that because, I'm sure people have seen your work, or, big agencies have been tapping you to do their work and doing covers, but there's always that, as an artist, you want your own imprint, your own thing,
yeah.
and it's pretty cool. I
Mm.
also, um, so speaking about regions, because I had Tahani Farr come at the last con, and we had talked about this global in like artistry and just people who are really talented. You want to speak about, like, obviously there's talent outside of the United States, but the flavor of the talent seems to really, and I'm just gonna say the Latin folks are really skilled. But I'm both tongue in cheek. But you want to talk about like how your work has been global, or even the reach. You talk about Brazil and teaching folks in Brazil, but you got on social media and now you've blown up. There's a lot of people looking at you. So, thinking about the cultural influences in particular when you draw, I've seen that also in your concept. So how important is it for people, one, when you are producing, that they see themselves in your work, the diversity piece?
Yeah, I think that's a good question. Um, I personally I live in the US. I moved to LA the first time in 2011. So it's been a long time. And I'm very connected mm, to my Brazilian culture. Um, I love Brazilian music. I'm also a musician. I've played in a band for like a couple of years in LA. So I was always like playing football with my Brazilian friends on the weekend, uh, trying to eat the food. And I don't think I left Brazil because I hate Brazil. It's not like that. And it's like, it's in your blood, so it's really hard to disconnect. I know a lot of people who really disconnect, and I think it's a shame because no matter where you are, um, you cannot lie about those roots, right? It's with you. And I think as a Brazilian, one thing I always say to my Brazilian family friends and stuff when they ask, hey, how do you feel in a different country? Like when you say, and I feel always like super nice every time I say I'm Brazilian. Everybody smiles, everybody, yeah, cool, man. And then it starts talking about football, and then it's all like fun every time. It's fun. So yeah, um embrace it, man. That's my advice. Like, embrace your culture. It's always nice to be just true.
Yeah. I think that's one of the biggest pieces to this conversation, especially around diversity, is that representation is important since the medium itself wasn't as inclusive to bring in folks from all over the globe to
Yeah,
be represented. I always joke around like, how is it that for 95% of superheroes are all in the United States, represented? Like that can't be a real thing, right?
yeah,
I know it's fake and I know it's fun and I know it's fiction, but to think about when people get upset about superheroes in Japan and a hero team there, and these are things that people have been influenced over the years,
yeah, man. And I
and
think and I think the comic book industry, or the entertainment industry in general, it's a reflection of the world that we're living, right? That's
yep,
what made Marvel famous in the beginning. Like, um, Stanley's stories were about the day, the real life,
yep,
and that's what's happening. And it's always gonna be what it should happen, like this way. I
yeah.
mean, yeah, and I think people get mad for like such like some stupid shit, man.
Yeah, I've heard people get upset when they saw a Black Panther movie recently about Namor being Mexican. I thought it was comedy.
Yeah,
Someone argued that he's Atlantean, and I said, I don't know if I know any Atlanteans that I could point to. It could be. It could have been over near in Mexico, but I think it's funny, and then to center, when you think about race or even sexual orientation and things like that, these are parts of people personalities that come out. Possibly it may be part of the DEI initiative, but at the end of the day, there are people that are represented all over the place. So and to embrace it. I know, as being I'm Puerto Riqueño, I'm Puerto Rican, and that's me all day every day. So when I see Miles Morales in the movie, and that whole thing, I was just floored, and I love it.
yeah.
Um, I know we have a
By the way,
couple.
uh, uh, the reference for um, oh my god, I forgot the name, his name from the Black Panther, Namor. The reference for
Name.
Namor, like everything that is around, it's super cool. It makes so much sense,
Exactly.
like the visual, it's so cool, man. Just like forget about it,
Yeah.
like
I The name was amazing to say, El Niño Sin Amor, right? And then he took the name Namor.
it's like
And I
everything
thought,
made sense, it's
yeah,
cool. Just yeah,
yeah.
and that's Namor.
And
It's
I
not
thought to
like
myself, has anybody looked for Atlantis in Mexico, around Mexico, somewhere in there in the Central American region? But no, I think sometimes it's cool when someone can take that those liberties to retcon or even just recreate what it is about that character that makes him special. I always thought Namor, however you want to call him, I always thought he was very interesting. I always saw him as a ambiguously racial individual when I was growing up. So I never said, "Oh, he's this or that." But he was really he was different. So
Yeah.
we had a couple of questions in the chat. One is I'm gonna start off with the last one. Just in the future, will you be looking for any way to help facilitate the upcoming talent in Brazil so that younger generations have more access to the industry? Or maybe you're doing that now.
Um, yeah. What I try to do, and I do that only in Portuguese. Unfortunately, maybe I should do that in English as well. But I'm always like super honest and direct about this career. That maybe it's related to the question above, which is in this career there's no magic, there is no easy way. Um, you can name whatever you want, but the only way you can be successful in this illustration or the comic book career, it's getting good at it. And
Hmm.
to do that, it's practice. You have to sit every day or every other day, whatever. If you sit every day, it's better. And draw and practice and research about it. Today we have a lot of YouTube channels. There's Instagram. There's a lot of people with tutorials. You can see famous artists drawing like in real life in real time. So um, just like find some really maybe some good art classes if you can pay for them, the better. If you have an artist that follow your work and then give you some tips, but
Yeah.
you have to work. There's no other way. So um, there's no exact number for that, like how many hours, how many minutes you have to practice every day. I don't know, but just make that part of your life.
Yeah.
I'm traveling now, and I'm only carrying my sketchbook. Um, I've been doing some stuff like when I can. I don't have a lot of time, but today I was in the train. Mm, it's kind of hard to see, but
There you go.
this lady was there, and I was like, drawing her.
That's
I
freaking
mean,
awesome.
some stuff that it's like, um, yeah. But if I could help facilitate like Brazilian folks to get in the industry, yeah, one thing is that, and the second thing is learn English because
Yes, yes.
yes,
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, I think being multilingual does help you,
yeah,
and then learning different styles. I was gonna ask you, I've noticed too, and I don't know if this is as I get older and see some of my heroes who are getting older as well, that reminded me that I'm getting older too. Somebody called me a silver fox the other day, and I was like, "What are you talking about?" But I love that. That was kind of cool. But I saw folks like, especially from Image. I remember growing up seeing them, and they were, the rock stars of the comic book industry. And then you see folks like Wills Portacio, and it looks, and even Silvestri, it looks like they keep getting better. Um, they're really, I mean, some of their stuff that I've seen recently, and I don't know if it's because they're starting to see, or learn other techniques. But uh, can you talk about your continuous learning and what that adds value as you get older and you start to kind of see other mediums?
yeah. So yeah, yeah, that's interesting.
I mean, you look 20 something years old, so it's all good. So
I'm 40, by the way.
oh, awesome, awesome. Yeah, I won't
Um,
tell you how old I am. I won't tell you how old this silver fox is. So but yeah, it's as the older you get, the more, how does the learning stuff happen with, also stabilizing your your style?
yeah, I think it's really cool because in art, like the older you get, the better you get, right? I
Mhm.
think you build a huge library of references and processes, and I think you can plan your artwork or plan your projects better. so you don't waste time. You kind of know what you're looking for, and I think that's the trick, like to visualize the end piece a little faster
Yep.
and understand what you need to do to get to that. Um, and it's a constant learning curve because the technology just doesn't stop.
Yeah.
So if you open Photoshop, if you, for example, if you open Photoshop now and the version that we had available 2 years ago, it's a lot. There's a lot of new things that you still have the same concept for the software. There are so
Mhm.
many new tools and some old tools that disappear, that you always have to keep looking. So
Mhm.
my thing with 3D, I'm not working with 3D directly anymore. I just do it for fun. And every time I open C4D, I'm like, okay. And when I was working more with it every day, I was just like, really, really fast. So, and it's important for you to don't get frustrated and
Yeah.
understand that this is the way. Um, but yeah.
So how can first of all, I just want to thank you for your contributions because I've been geeking out over all your stuff, not only the digital stuff. I just think that the fact that you've diversified your portfolio, you've done some really amazing things with the art industry and the directing things and just really just the whole landscape. How do people? I have a booth for you, so everybody can just jump into the booth. But what is the best way that people can either, if they're interested, or I don't know if you have a store. I was trying to look for a store because I really wanted some of your stuff already. I was like, I need to get original art from him, or maybe it's something. I need something. So how can people purchase things, or if you have any, or are you open for commissions? And if you have time, I know you're busy as heck, but yeah, any of those things, your socials, what are the socials that people can connect with you?
Yeah, so I'm on Instagram. I'm very active on Instagram. It's at Rafael Dante. I have a YouTube channel that is not very active at the moment, but my plan is to come back with the YouTube channel as well, which is at Rafael Dante too. And I have a page. I have an agent that they take care of my commissions and other art stuff.
Cool.
You can contact me directly on my Instagram. You can just shoot me a message. But let me post the my agent's website. You can order commissions, and I have some already, some artwork over there
Okay.
too.
If you're looking for some of his original art, I highly recommend it. As you've seen, I've kind of showed you on his website. The work is one of the top notch works. I hope that you do a ton of covers for somebody. Uh, I may actually I may actually call you and say, hey, my comic book is ready. Can I get a cover from you? And
Yeah.
and that'll
No,
be
I
really
do
cool.
I do that all the time. So I do commissions all the time. Um, you know, and yeah, blank covers. Just shoot me a message, or here's the link for um
Awesome.
you can
Yeah, let me
search me there
can
too.
share it as well. Let me share it real quick so that people who are watching, and I know you said you're building out your YouTube channel. Let me know because I'm going to send this to you in raw form. You could do whatever you want with it. This is a great interview, and I think it just showcases just your artistry. It's really cool. So this is Rafael Dante's
Oh,
commission,
there's
and this
my
is
other
the
page. There's another page
artist
over
bullpen.
here. Yeah.
So if you want to get some commission work, starts from 150, which is actually pretty cool, all the way up to an 11 by 17 full cover. And I'm definitely gonna be putting my monies together to make sure I support you. But this is amazing work. And the other one, you said this one is the oh yeah, this is the one I did see. All right, so I'm gonna share this one too. I think this is the one that I was just like I became broke after this because I thought to myself, there's no way that I'm gonna be able to afford all this. But anyway, who knows? Maybe I'll hit the lottery. But as you can see, there's a whole bunch of stuff like the Bishop, Cable, Chapel, um, Long Shot, Shaft, Darth Vader. So these are really cool. They're very affordable too, and I think this is just an amazing opportunity for you all to grab something before somebody snatches him up and makes him a millionaire, and then he really can't afford his work. So I always like to support artists and make sure that I have their original art as well. And I'll be doing that for sure. I love your work, man.
Thank you.
If I'm fanboying too much, it's because you legitimately are really talented. So
I really appreciate it.
um, I know we're at the tail end of our show at the con. I wanted to say one, thank you so much for making time to basically get interviewed and to come back. I really appreciate it. I would love to have you come back in future episodes of
My
either
pleasure.
my YouTube channel. Maybe we could do a collabo. But if anybody else has any other questions, please put it in the chat or put it in the Q&A. Would love to also allow our folks. I just want to say thank you to everybody here who's been in the session, listening to the amazing Rafael Dante. And you can check him out. He's in Denmark right now. He's doing his thing, but he'll be back fairly soon. Again, Rafael, thank you so much. And I look forward to following your career and continuing. And then I'll make sure that you get an invite to the next con. This is the fourth one that we're concluding. And the fifth one is going to be around December and January. And I would love for you to at least be a participant so that you can chill, relax, and just commiserate with folks. And we thank you more. Thank you so much more for coming in and spending time with us.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Any
Um,
last inspiring words? Anything that you want to leave the folks with?
no, just I said you have to practice a lot, but please have fun. That's the most important thing. Have fun, and then just do it for love. But yeah,